Debate tonight. Is President Trump trying to get away with the double standard on sexual harassment and abuse? He's slamming Democratic Senator Al Franken.
But Mr. Trump hasn't condemned Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore, adding fuel to the fires the president's own track record of lewd and degrading comments about women. KCON9 political reporter Dave Bryan is here now with the story, and lots of reaction to that, Dave.
A lot of reaction, a real national dialogue, on this issue going back, really all the way back to the Bill Clinton days, actually. People are noticing Mr. Trump wasted no time attacking Al Franken, but has been mostly silent on Roy Moore. The only comments have been from the press secretary, the White House press secretary, when reporters try to shout questions to the president like this.
Mr. President, do you believe Roy Moore's accusers?
Since he returned from Asia, President Trump has repeatedly refused to answer reporters' questions about his view of sexual allegations against Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore. But the president has demonstrated no such reluctance in pouncing on Senator Al Franken, a Democrat, who has acknowledged sexual allegations against him this week. The president tweeted, "The Al Frankenstein picture is really bad, speaks 1,000 words," referring to this 2006 photograph showing Franken appearing to grope Leanne Tweeden while she slept on a military airplane during a USO tour. In his tweet, the president wonders, where do his hands go in pictures 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 while she sleeps? White House senior counselor Kellyanne Conway told Fox News the president's different responses was all about timing.
Well, Al Franken was a brand new news story yesterday, and the president weighed in, as he does on the news of the day, often enough. The Roy Moore story is 8 days old, and the president put out a statement during his Asia trip on that.
On Friday, Leanne Tweeden received a handwritten letter of apology from Franken, but Roy Moore continues to insist he did nothing wrong.
The Washington Post has brought some scurrilous, false charges, not charges, allegations, which I have emphatically denied time and time again.
His wife assured women supporters of Moore that he has no intention of giving up the fight for his integrity, his name, and the Senate seat.
He will not step down.
And the governor of Alabama announced Friday that she will vote for Moore in the Senate election, even though she says she doesn't think his accusers are lying.
I certainly have no reason to disbelieve any of them. The timing is a little curious, but at the same time, I have no reason to disbelieve them. What I plan to do is vote for the Republican nominee, Roy Moore.
But while the Alabama governor and President Trump may be seen as going easy on Republican Roy Moore, several Democrats were quick to condemn Al Franken's actions, including Manhattan Beach Congressman Ted Lieu, who told CNN that President Trump is in no position to be judging Franken when he himself was accused of sexually abusing women.
What Senator Franken did was completely unacceptable. But with their sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump and their Hollywood Access tape, I don't think the president has moral standing to talk about this issue.
Congressman Lieu was referring to sexual allegations against candidate Donald Trump last year, fueled by a 2005 Access Hollywood audio tape in which he was bragging about groping women.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Trump apologized after the audio tape was made public.
Anyone who knows me knows these words don't reflect who I am. I said it, I was wrong, and I apologize.
But after the apology, more than a dozen women came forward and accused Trump of sexual misconduct and assault. And today, the White House denied any similarities between the Franken inappropriate conduct and the allegations against Trump.
I think in one case specifically, Senator Franken has admitted wrongdoing and the president hasn't. I think that's a very clear distinction.
Now, even the sexual misconduct by President Bill Clinton is being reviewed and debated as part of the national reassessment of this behavior. Clinton was impeached after he lied under oath about his affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky.
I misled people, including even my wife. I deeply regret that.
Now, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a prominent Democrat, says in the context of today's thinking, President Clinton probably should have stepped down.
Yes, I think that is the appropriate response, but I think things have changed today, and I think under those circumstances, there should be a very different reaction.
Now back to the Alabama election for a moment. Tonight, the chances of delaying the Alabama Senate election appear to be diminishing. The governor has already repeatedly said she has no interest and no reason to do that. And after announcing today that she will vote for Roy Moore, there would appear to be no reason to delay the election. That probably means that the Republicans will likely now have to take action to expel Mr. Moore if he wins on December 12th and if they want to deny him a seat in the Senate. Jeff, Lena, back to you. Okay.